Why did I buy more Aritzia sweats? Why? You guys already know I don't like them, and I know I don't like them either. I don't know why I bought another Aritzia sweat. I think this all started when Lululemon released their Scuba faux zip, and I loved it so much that I didn't even realize that they're another whole $10 more expensive than the half zip. So buying a zip up for like $128, like part of me just can't justify that. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll go out and I'll try to find some alternatives. Maybe I'll be able to find something a lot cheaper for a comparable look. And of course I got lazy and just reverted back to Aritzia because it's so easy to find reviews on Aritzia on YouTube. And I was able to find something pretty similar, and that is the Aritzia's, okay, I got the name. The comparable version to the Lululemon Scuba faux zip is the Aritzia Cozy Fleece Perfect Zip Up Hoodie. Gosh, the name is getting longer and longer. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing today. Let's see if the Lulu one is actually worth like almost double more than the Aritzia one. Let's start with the TNA one first. This is how it looks like when it's unzipped, and the length of these hits me just an inch or so above my hip bone. So it ends here, and this is where my hip bone is. And this is how it looks like when I zip it up. It's got a pretty boxy shape. I would say it's definitely more top heavy. It's definitely boxier on the top, and the bottom of the hoodie kind of just cinches in at the bottom. And also the upper arm area also got a lot of fabric around like your underarm, around your shoulders. It's got an oversized hood, but not heavy at the same time, which I really like. What I really don't like about this hoodie is that it just feels like it doesn't move with my movements. It kind of just sits on my body very stiffly. One pet peeve that I have is that whenever I raise my arm and I'll let it down, it just looks like I got so much extra fabric up here on my shoulders that makes me look really wide. Because the zipper pull ends right under my neck, I do like to zip it all the way up just because it's comfortable. It also makes the hood much more secure, and there's less chance of the hood pulling the sweatshirt backwards. Now we'll move on to the details of the sweater. So there's this very simple embroidered TNA logo on the sleeve, and other than that, there's absolutely no branding anywhere else. So if you're someone who doesn't like branding, I feel like this will be a pretty good option for you. This hoodie does have a double reinforced seam going down the center trying to hide the zipper pull. But as a result of that, I feel like it has made the center of this hoodie very stiff, and it doesn't feel like it really flows with your movements. Let's say when I try to sit down, you can see that the center of the hoodie kind of bulges out because of how thick the center part is now. It is quite heavily padded and double lined. Another thing that I don't like about the zip up is the zipper pull. Somehow this zipper pull looks extremely cheap to me. Does it look cheap to you guys, or is it just me? I don't know. Like, I don't like this, that it's just got this metal plate and that's it. Maybe they're trying to go for some retro vibe that I'm not getting. This thing really bothers me a lot. Rarely do I ever pull my zipper pull like all the way up here. Chances are it's going to be somewhere around my chest area, and as a result, the inner seam would come through from my collar. And I just don't like how sloppy this looks right here, where you'll see later on that the Lulu one has done a much better job at hiding this. I know what you guys might think, that, hey, this is like half of the price of the Lulu one. You can't really compare like that, but let me just show you. That's what I thought too, until I got a hold of my husband's Uniqlo zip up, and let me say, I'm disappointed. Like, look at this. Look at the Uniqlo one. Like, the craftsmanship just looks a lot better than the Aritzia one. And this is how the Aritzia one looks like. I mean, it just looks like they got a fabric and they sewn it together and they cut off the excess. And let's just compare to this $40 Uniqlo one. I mean, this one just looks so much more polished and well made. This is the Scuba zip up unzipped, and a lot of times I would just wear it like this with it unzipped. Yeah, let me just zip it up for you guys. And this is how it's like when it's zipped. It's pretty boxy and oversized as well. I don't think it's any less or more oversized than the Aritzia one. But one thing is that the bottom of this is not cinched at all. So the fit of these are just like going straight down. And what I love the most about this zip up is that it looks very polished and very flowy. Like when I try to raise my arm or anything and I let it down, everything just falls down very nicely. And let me also just show you guys how this looks like when it's fully zipped up. So that's what it's like. I think it just covers the very bottom of my chin. Now let's move on to the details. It's got a huge Lululemon logo at the back of the hood area, which I personally don't really like. I much prefer the Aritzia one where it's got a very minimum logo. And let's check out the interior of this zip up. This seam is what I was talking about when I was mentioning about the TNA one, how it looks sloppy. So if you compare to this one, which is lined with such a nice ribboning kind of ribbon detail, it just makes it look so polished and luxurious. And I love how, you know, when I zip it up, anything that's open on display just looks very well done as opposed to the TNA one, which looks pretty sloppy to me over here. There's also some paneling on the shoulder area. And if you have the Scuba half zip, it has the exact same detail as the half zip as well. And since I mentioned about the zipper on the other one, I'll mention the zipper on this one too. It's got their signature emergency hair tie zipper pull. And oh, actually on the Lulu one, it's also got a reinforced seam down the sides of the zipper, but it's not going over the actual zipper. So this one feels very fluid and very liquid. And it definitely feels much more flexible on my body when I zip it up. I don't get that kind of stiffness at all now. This one's also got thumb holes, which is very typical for Lululemon. Like once again, I think the Aritzia sweatshirts are just not worth it. I mean, although they're like almost 50% cheaper, but at a price point of $70, I felt like they could have done much better, especially that we compared it with a $40 Uniqlo one. They can definitely do better. And I just can't wait for them to like improve on the quality a bit more. But you know what? From looking at the footages that I made for the video here, I do feel like the TNA one, due to its shortness, does look a bit more fashionable. Like outside of your gym wear and wearing leggings, I can definitely see like the shorter style going better with high-waisted jeans as opposed to the Lululemon one. I mean, it's cropped, but kind of like not too cropped, but it's boxy at the same time, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I do see like a benefit of the TNA one now that I look back at my clips. I think this is gonna be a pretty hard call. I mean, the price difference is just getting bigger and bigger with Lululemon increasing its price all the time. I mean, can you believe that this is like $10 more expensive than the half zip? And we already thought the half zip was like crazy. It was like $118 and this is like $128. It's a pretty hard call, I think. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm pretty curious.